There once was a man named Gold Roger who was king of the pirates. He had fame, power, and wealth beyond your wildest dreams. Before they hung him from the gallows, these were the final words he said.
Our perspective is yours for the taking, but you'll have to join us first. We left everything we debated at the Yonkō Table.
Ever since, pirates from all over the world set sail for the Grand Line, searching for the Yonkō Table, the table that will make their dreams come true.
Yo, everyone. It is the Yonkō Table back again. It's been some time since we've had an episode, but what special occasion to even come back for then to do an episode on the Suicide Squad. Not Suicide Squad. Make sure you put the in the beginning because it's different. It's different from the last one. The Suicide Squad. I'm your Yonkō host, DrJaceAttorney, and with me as always to come in to talk about the Suicide Squad is fellow Yonkō mate, GrandMasterHoop. Grandmaster, it's been some time, so you know I'm going to ask you as always, how's your day been?
It's an early morning. Dr. Jace just woke up, but I'm excited to be here on the cast today and talk about the Suicide Squad. So yeah, I'm having a good day, had a good week. Go back to work next week. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, here we are, the Suicide Squad, ready to deep dive.
Ready to deep dive as always. Next up, we have Supernova Rose the Crafter. Rose, I see King Shark in your background. Are you standing, King Shark?
I'm not standing, but I'm inspired by the num num. So I'm hungry. I'm at the table. Not for humans though, not for flesh. Y'all are my friends.
That's true. That's true, right? That's right. We don't eat each other. Next up, Supernova Toasty. Toasty, man, how you been?
It's too early, so I'm tired. But apart from that, feeling great, excited.
You better get energized, my man.
I will try.
Oh man. Next up, we got Supernova DoctaReeka. DoctaReeka, how you been?
I'm good. First week of work out the way, and I do stand Sebastian the Rat. So that's what I'm here for, to be honest. King Shark, Sebastian, Harley. That's what you'll hear me talk about tonight. I was about to say tonight, but it's this morning. So
this movie has a lot of likable characters. I do not blame you, especially Sebastian. I do like Sebastian. And last but not least, Supernova Darce. Darce, how you been, my man?
I'm good. I'm excited to talk about this movie. I might have some differing opinions from everybody else, but
good.
We'll see where that goes. Can't wait to dive into it. It's early in the morning, so I might be stuttering all over the place. I'm still rebooting.
We're all on the same boat as you, man. But it's good. We like differing opinions at the Yonkō Table. So let's get straight into it. But before we get into the nitty gritty, expectations going into the movie. What were you guys expecting coming into this? Were you kind of hyped that James Gunn was at the helm? Were you kind of exhausted from like the previous Suicide Squad or some of the lackluster DC movies that we've been watching lately? Just, you know, what were your expectations of what you wanted to pull out of this movie coming in?
I definitely didn't care that they were making another Suicide Squad movie because the original one that came out, goodness, it was 5 years ago now. Didn't leave a good taste at all. That movie was all over the place. They didn't really know what they wanted to do, in my opinion.
It had Jared Leto.
Who cares? Because they didn't even care that they had Jared Leto at the end of the day. But I mean, and I'm not a big James Gunn stan either. Like I like the Guardian of the Galaxy movies. However, I was not like, ooh, James Gunn's coming on. He's about to have a winner right here. So I definitely had a low bar for sure when this movie was coming out. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm ever too excited for a DC film, and that might be a biased opinion, but it is what it is. Yeah, it was low bar. I didn't really have much expectations.
Yeah, I would say I had pretty low expectations coming in as well. I mean, that's kind of the norm, at least for me, with like these DC extended universe movies. Not all of them are terrible, but you know, early on, in my opinion, they were pretty bad. So it leaves that bad impression. And so you come in with these low expectations, and that's part of the reason why I enjoy some of the movies like Shazam. like Shazam, I went in with really low, and that was probably one of the few DC movies I liked aside from Wonder Woman.
Right.
So yeah, I came in pretty low. I came out pretty high from this movie, but we'll get into that later. But what about everyone else's opinion? Like, just, you know, going in.
I expected it to be amazing. I heard the reviews. The reviews were all over the place saying this movie was the best movie out of the DC universe, and I mean, it hyped me up a little bit too much for the movie. And we're gonna talk about it later, but I was kind of left disappointed by how much it was hyped. It was not as good as I thought it was gonna be. It was good, but not as good.
So you feel like the reviews might have ruined the experience?
100%. The reviews are saying, dude, this is the must-see movie of the summer. You have to see this movie. This movie's amazing. It's a 10 out of 10, blah, 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 blah. It was a good movie. By DC standard, it was a good movie, but it wasn't that good. That's the issue.
Yeah, that's why I stay away from, especially with newer stuff coming out, diving deep into reviews before the movie even comes out, like the early reviews, because then the bar gets kind of set for you, and then you're kind of setting yourself up. So had I read the reviews too, I'd have been like probably the same way. I went in with no expectations at all. I didn't really care too much for it, but I was intrigued enough because I was like, okay, new installment, James Gunn. I like the Guardians of the Galaxy. Do I love the Guardians of the Galaxy movies? Not really. They're fine. They're fine movies. So my expectation wasn't really a personal one. I just kind of expected it since James Gunn was doing it. I'm like, okay, this is the Guardians of the Galaxy. I expect the Guardians of the Galaxy blueprint for a DC movie, which I think what happened, and that we'll dive into. So I kept my expectations personally just out of the way, so I could kind of jump in and kind of stayed away from reviews, so it wouldn't sway me a little bit.
Right. I mean, even outside of just reviews on its own, I feel like even during the production of this movie, kind of what got me a little bit, kind of elevated my expectations a little bit was the fact that James Gunn was at the helm, but also this was going to be, I think, the DC live action lineup's second R-rated movie, right? Because after Joker was the first R-rated movie.
Right.
I guess you don't. Most people don't consider that in the DC extended universe, but it's still in the catalog.
It's a DC, but
right,
not that extended. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So
right.
I mean, it's the fact that it's R-rated, so it leaves the writers and director to have more freedom with the story, and then also the fact that James Gunn literally had no pushback at all during this production, from what he's told us. Like, he was just told to, hey, make a Suicide Squad movie, and with no company interference or no higher up interference, and we got this. So I was excited to see that version of the movie that we were gonna get. So low expectations, but it's James Gunn, R rating, and he was let loose for this film. So I went in a little bit elevated. What about you, DoctaReeka and Darce?
I will say Birds of Prey was also rated R.
Oh,
that's right. I hadn't seen that one.
I forgot that it was rated R. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was violent.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I guess pretty similar to what folks have already shared. I don't know if I even had any expectations beyond just like, can I be entertained? I think when I go into DC movies at this point is like, can I just have fun? Because I don't know what else to expect beyond that. I think it's worked so far for some of the films. I think Jace brought up earlier, like Shazam. I just went in like, no expectations, let me just be entertained, and I was, and I think I came out with a positive experience. So I would feel like it echoed this. Like, I tried not to read any reviews. I knew, like, we were all kind of discussing a little bit within our chat things that were coming up, but I was like, just let me press play and see what happens. And I think it worked in my favor. At least I had a positive experience and I was entertained. So.
And yeah, I'm kind of similar to that. Like, I didn't really have too high of expectations. When it comes to James Gunn, I figured that the music selection was going to be fire for that. I mean, and it was, but it wasn't like that, like Guardians of the Galaxy level. But
right.
Honestly, my expectation was, all right, how many people are going to die in this movie? That was my expectation. So, I don't know. I thought it was it kind of met my expectation because I knew the ratings were going to be like through the roof because people have been like in quarantine. We haven't had really too many new movies coming out. So it just needed to be like more of the, it just had to be a good movie, something that I could probably rewatch. And I think it hit it.
Yeah, this is a movie I feel like, at least for me, and I don't say this a lot about the DC films. I think I would need to watch it a couple more times to get a proper assessment of it. Because right now we're gonna transition into like overall thoughts of the film, and I could tell you right now, I could still be on that high, but overall, at least for me personally, I really enjoyed that movie. I really enjoyed it. I don't know if it was the reviews that made me somewhat biased. I didn't read too many of them. I just kind of saw them. People were praising the film. But jumping into it, I mean, the comedy was so good. I don't know. I was laughing almost at every joke. I feel like there was not a joke that missed or a line that was just. I could tell you now, from the OG Suicide Squad, I can literally count. I can make a spreadsheet of every joke that missed the bar, and most of them came from Will Smith.
Oh, stop!
Most of them came from Will Smith, and
leave that man alone.
You will not do this to Will.
I will do it to Will because I have tough love for Will. I love Will as an actor. I love the movies he was in the 2000s, but in the 2010s, man,
that's not his fault.
You telling me you didn't enjoy After Earth? The best
Stop.
movie
His
ever?
best. Oh,
Y'all
his
are not.
best.
This is not a
His
masterpiece.
Y'all
Y'all are
being
not about
messy.
to do
You're
this.
being messy, right?
Y'all are not coming at Will. I'm standing for Will. I will
Listen.
stand for Will.
Overall, this movie was great. I mean, the cast selection I thought was fantastic. I loved each of the characters. I felt like they each, for the most part, got their own moments to make me care enough about them. King Shark. I was expecting King Shark to be the least interesting character in the entire roster because he's just the brute force. He's the muscle man. But James Gunn, I don't know how he did it. He gave enough screen time to this bumbling buffoon throughout the movie. And I don't know, I kind of cared. I was like, oh man, he just wants dumb friends. And then he gets betrayed by those, fish later on. But overall, yes, I easily better than the original, easily. Would I say this is the best out of the DCEU's lineup? I would say it's up there for sure. I do want to kind of rewatch Wonder Woman because I have Wonder Woman really high up there. And then
Not the second Wonder Woman, right?
Not the second one. No, I would have said 1984. I would have said it if I specifically meant that travesty. But yeah, Wonder Woman, Shazam, and these movies are easily up there. I feel like you can make an argument for the Suicide Squad being the best one, but
listen, just say what you really want to say. It is the best one.
It is. No, it is. Okay,
it is.
Okay.
It's
yes,
better than
yes.
Wonder Woman. It's better than Shazam. It ranks supreme. This movie was great. I thought this movie was great. Yeah, I see you're standing King Shark. I'm gonna stand.
I stand everyone. I wanted to mention King Shark just because he was the least interesting coming in. And
you can latch onto a character. You can latch onto a character. I think I latched on to. I really like Bloodsport. I think Idris Elba did a really good job in this movie.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And I really like. I don't know what the hell was going on with his armor.
Gadgets? That was
everything he pulled off turned into a weapon. I didn't know what was going on.
But
yeah, I didn't get it.
Yeah,
it was great. It was good. And like you said, each character had a moment where you really felt for them. Like I'll tell you, Rick Flagg in the original one, I could care less about Rick Flagg. Right.
In the original Suicide Squad?
In the original Suicide Squad.
Was he in that?
He was in that. So you didn't even notice. Yes.
Listen, from the original, I remember Harley Quinn,
right.
Joker, whatever, Deadshot.
So the returning only returning characters were Amanda Waller, who again Viola Davis kills it, and all she did was stand in a room.
Fantastic. She's fantastic.
Right. Oh my God. Was anyone else getting like Annalise Keating vibes? Like
yeah,
the entire time.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, Amanda Waller, Harley Quinn, Rick Flagg, and
Boomerang.
Boomerang.
That was it. Yeah, that was it. That was the only ones that came back. And yeah, James Gunn, he just really he clearly has a love for the comics of the Suicide Squad, because he delivered on what the Suicide Squad is. It is a suicide mission. I think maybe 2 people died in the original one. Goodness gracious, way to open this movie. Y'all thought, I bet y'all didn't think Michael Rooker was gonna be off so quick. Yondu, right?
I did not.
Okay, so here's the thing. I don't want to interrupt your overall opinion.
Oh no, that's it. That's
interject,
it. No,
interject
good.
at any time.
About this opening scene, I absolutely hate this new trend that everybody is doing with the boys, Invincible, where they just love to just kill off every single thing. That's like, oh my gosh.
But that's it. That's the Suicide Squad.
Oh,
that's it though. They're supposed to die.
I see these cool characters and their outfits, and I'm like, all right, we're gonna see some. No, not that one. No. Oh, wait,
did you really want to see more of TDK? Did you really want to see more of that guy?
Nathan Fillion?
Oh my gosh, stop. When all he did was start whacking people, like slapping people with his arms.
All right.
What was he doing?
Such a dumb power.
That was hilarious. That was hilarious.
Right.
Yes, it was hilarious, but it's like, dude, pick up a gun and start shooting people. What are you doing?
Oh
Hilarious, yes.
It's okay, Darce. I wasn't a big fan of the intro either. I understood it, I appreciate it, but it didn't land for me. Not the fact that people were going, it was just how people were going. Yeah. I was like, this is over. This is how the movie's gonna go. It's gonna be a chaotic, over the top mess. The tone is set right here. But I do appreciate it because they're shown throughout the whole trailer. Like, they're promoted throughout all those characters are literally promoted all throughout the whole promo coming up to this movie. So it's just like a big like flip on its head. But it does exactly set the tone of Suicide Squad. Like, these are suicide missions and C to D rated villains doing these missions.
Yeah.
So I didn't know any of these guys coming. Well, handful, but who knew Weasel?
I love Weasel. And
oh no!
Don't.
No way that the first one dead, and I'm just like, oh my god, this is freaking hilarious.
Did anyone check this guy knew how to swim?
27 kids, right? 27.
I know
Exactly.
But this literally fits James Gunn's like, all right, we have a team of heroes, and then we have 2 animated characters that are just so out there and so weird, like Weasel and King Shark. Like, it was funny. I laugh every time that scene happens. And I did really like the cabin in the woods effect of it, where they're like, all right guys, let's start taking bets, like who's gonna make it.
Yeah.
Oh man, I mean, it really shows like how much like these characters, the government, they really don't care about these individuals. They're sending them out to the slaughter. And you see it in that suicide mission, in the first scene of the movie. And yeah, I mean, the movie's gruesome. I like that aspect of it because it really showed, no one for the most part is safe. Like, you knew the main cast for the most part was going to be surviving, but you didn't know if the supporting cast was going to make it to the end. Like, maybe we'll have like 2 or 3 characters biting the dust throughout the film. Another thing that I liked about this, it had little to no ties to the DCEU. There was hardly any, I mean, unless there's some Easter eggs that I missed, or like some, aside from Harley Quinn.
Be the only one, yeah.
Yeah, Harley as a character, I guess, like ties into the DCEU, and maybe like one line that she says, but like they really just wanted to make a movie on its own, and it shows. Like, and not to say that DC hasn't done this before with their live action movies. They did it with Joker. They did it with oh man, the name's escaping me. Shazam had, again, maybe some Easter eggs that I'm not aware of, but Shazam for the most part was just a film on its own. Even though it's set in the DCEU, it just wanted to do its own thing.
Well,
and
they mentioned the superheroes.
Yeah, they connected. They definitely connected Superman and stuff in Shazam. So
right, I guess directly tying it in, because like I know with the original Suicide Squad, they really wanted you to know that, oh, this is Ben Affleck's Batman. Would you like to see flashback of him.
I mean, even the Flash showed up in the original one in Captain Boomerang's background story.
Exactly.
Right.
And I mean, those are fine, I guess. There were like maybe a couple seconds in the movie, but I mean, the fact that James Gunn, for all he knew, this was going to be his one and done film in the DCEU. So he didn't want to tie it to anything else, and he just wanted to make a good DC movie. I felt like he did that, and part of the reason why is because he had nothing to worry about with tying this into Gotham City or Darkseid or just any of these other shenanigans.
Oh my god! Can you imagine?
Like
Darkseid, if they were like hyping up Darkseid at the end of this film, some convoluted way. You know?
Somehow, yes. Starro was working for Darkseid.
It's like, you think I'm bad? Wait till he comes. I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, I like the less tie. I think the best little tie-in that they even did, because they really didn't even do Harley Quinn. I think they didn't even mention Joker by name.
I don't even know what time period this.
They didn't.
Yeah,
Actually,
they did not
I don't know
explain.
either.
I would like to think this movie maybe took place before Birds of Prey.
No, after Birds of Prey.
No, after.
Definitely
really?
after. Yeah, by the way, how Harley's character was, that's definitely post Birds of Prey.
Well, she was trying to turn a new leaf in Birds of Prey, but she killed the dude point blank.
Because he was a psycho.
I mean, yes, he was a psycho.
He was, yeah.
Yeah, and that was the entire thing with Birds of Prey. She wanted to move away from the Joker because he was a psycho.
Was she trying to kill people though? Was she trying to kill people to move away from them?
I mean, she wasn't trying to kill at first. It just ended up that way. I mean,
I don't know.
He came out psychotic though. That's the thing. Like, if she met a normal person and she just got bad signs, like, oh, he's a douchebag, and then that's it.
She was literally like, I'm starting to get Joker vibes. Let's just go ahead and take this out now. It's a little more extreme, but I mean, think of the circumstances she's in. What she's gonna say? Just no and just walk out the front door?
That ain't happening.
I mean, she could have, I guess, you know.
I guess.
Well, I mean, I guess she kind of did in a way in the movie. She kind of did walk out the front door, but hey, you know, whatever. Harley Quinn is the most ties that we get to past films. I do need to watch Birds of Prey though.
I think there was like one scene where they mentioned Star Labs with the polka
They
dot.
did mention Star Labs.
Right, they did. Right.
Also,
that was with a Polka Dot Man.
Polka Dot
that
Man.
mom was freaking hilarious.
Come out. Polka Dot Man. That had to be the funniest bit in the whole movie.
Easily. For me, yeah. For 100%.
Like, he was like, "It's your mom."
And then the giant mom just wrecking it.
Right.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
In the club scene where we're there, or not in the club, in the bar. Where she's dancing and it's just his mom on all these people that he's dancing with. Yeah, easily hilarious. Polka Dot Man, I thought he was gonna be the most psychotic in the group, and for the most part he was to a degree, yeah, to a degree. But like, I felt for him. I felt that he was trying to do the best with what he was given. You know, parents experimented on him, and now he has polka dots and he has to expel them twice a day. I don't know. I can feel with the man, but that's, again, going back to the good writing. He made me feel for this D-list character that I did not know existed before this movie, and I'm probably gonna look him up after this and see, you know, what his deal is, and hopefully he'll make a return, coming back to life after becoming a pulp at the end of the movie. But how about this? Standout moments. I think from here we could start getting into the specifics. I think we've kind of been doing that already, just going into specific scenes and the gruesomeness and Harley Quinn killing her ex-lover boyfriends and all that. But just, did anything stand out to you guys? Like, just any scenes?
Oh my gosh.
Go ahead.
I'm just gonna I'm trying to get DoctaReeka in here because, all right, DoctaReeka, you're a Sebastian stan.
Oh man, Sebastian had a lot. Sebastian had a lot.
No, but like Sebastian
Stan.
Okay.
Get it?
Yeah.
Get it? That's good, right? That's clever.
I'm trying to grasp it.
Oh my gosh.
The actor Sebastian
Bucky Barnes.
Soldier.
Oh, that's him?
Yeah, his name is Sebastian.
Oh, okay,
but the
that's right,
rat
that's right.
is
Yes.
named Sebastian.
You're
She's
right. You're
standing.
right. I got it.
Yeah, okay.
It clicked. It clicked now.
Okay, yeah. Sorry.
Well, on that note, I will say, as far as kind of dipping into the last topic and using that as a segue, yeah, I'd rank this probably in my top 3 of DCEUs. I have just I love Wonder Woman, I love Birds of Prey, and I don't think they're going to be moved anytime soon. But very much, like, I would rank this at probably number 3. And a lot of it is because of the characters. I mean, we had all the action. There are some scenes that I really enjoyed, but like, I really liked that you had just this ragtag bunch of people that are coming together, don't know who they are, but they certainly stand out. And Sebastian and the rat, but also just Ratcatcher 2 was really great. I really enjoyed her. And I really enjoyed King Shark. We've already talked about that. I love Harley. I think one of her standout moments were certainly the escape from.
Oh, the escape was pretty good.
That was great. I love the flowers. You know, I just like things that are a bit more creative. I think y'all have already talked about like the intro of the film and how that feels kind of similar to things that we've seen recently in terms of like violence levels. I enjoy things that get a little bit more creative in terms of like action sequences, because we've had so many action films over the years and so many superhero films that it's fun to see something a little different. So I really enjoyed the escape. And then I just like I said, I like the humor and I liked the interactions between the characters. I know we'll specifically be talking about a few coming up, but yeah, I think what stands out is not necessarily a scene, but just the fact that it all kind of worked. It was chaotic and it was messy, and you have these people you literally don't know, and it all came together and it worked for me in terms of being entertained, but also feeling like, oh, I connect to this person somehow, and I don't know how I connected to a shark, but I do now. So yeah, I was entertained and I really enjoyed what was within the movie.
No, for sure. And I mean, I haven't talked specifically on Idris Elba yet as Bloodsport. Did anyone else get those vibes with the father-daughter scene that James Gunn was taking a stab at Will Smith from the OG? If you don't remember, Will Smith's character as Deadshot in the original Suicide Squad, he was an assassin, as Deadshot is. But they tried to humanize him by having a father-daughter relationship with him. It was something where he cared for his daughter and he was doing this all for her sake and all that stuff. I really hate movies or shows that do that, where they arbitrarily try to humanize a terrible person by saying, oh, but you know, he has a kid though, and he's doing it for the kid, and you know, it's supposed to make you feel all fuzzy inside. But it didn't work for me in that movie. It didn't. With this, I feel like they really tried to go a little bit more realistic with how an offspring of a mercenary / assassin would be. And I mean, it's toxic. You see that scene where they're in the prison room, Idris Elba and his daughter, they hate each other. They're telling each other to screw off. And I personally feel that James Gunn was maybe taking a stab at that cliche trope with Deadshot from the OG Suicide Squad. Like, no, this guy's an assassin at the end of the day. He likely made decisions on his own for his own selfish needs. And yeah, like I personally think that was like maybe a shot at Deadshot from the last movie. But then again, you have scenes where he kind of does care about his daughter, but
it's a sticky situation, because when they hired Idris Elba, right, originally he was gonna replace Will Smith as Deadshot.
Oh, that was a thing that was actually gonna happen.
That was the original idea, and okay. I guess that stuck with the whole daughter aspect, right? However, then James Gunn said, you know what? Let's make him a different character in case because Will Smith just wasn't available in the film, right? It's not like he said, no, I don't want to come back. He wasn't available.
What was he doing?
King Richard. Who knows?
Watching After Earth.
Oh, he was watching After Earth.
Watching After Earth with his.
Y'all gotta leave Will alone, man.
I got that movie did bad for Will. Will did not do bad for that movie. But yeah, he left it open so Will Smith could return as Deadshot in a future film. However, both films feature a black lead having a a quasi non slash
It's the same character.
relationship. You're right.
It's the same character. It
right.
is.
But they did better here because Jace is right saying the toxicity of that relationship, But I will say
real.
this.
I don't know. For me, it did.
I will say this. It was not necessary because at the end of that film,
You didn't want it.
at the end of that film, when she's like, "That's my dad. That's my dad." I'm like, do you even see your dad on like the news? Like, I don't see him. Where do you see your dad on this little
He
news
was right
reel?
there. He
What
was.
do
I
you
didn't
mean?
see him on that.
What are you
news
talking
reel.
about?
He was one of the people like shooting down all the Starro
They
minions.
have film.
Yeah.
She saw that.
Yeah, she saw
Yeah,
that.
I swear to
on
God. I
TV.
swear I must have missed it.
Yeah, what are you? What?
Rewatch.
Okay,
Rewatch.
fine,
you better
fine.
stand this afterwards.
No.
The point
Also, his. It was part of the story. So,
Yeah.
I mean, to
Yes,
say it's
that-
not
yes.
necessary, a little
Right.
bit necessary for how they was going with the story for the development.
He's doing
would-
all of this literally for her.
Okay, when I say not necessary, I guess I more mean like you could have found a different angle, But I will say they did better with the angle too, because the daughter was like, yeah, she was in the original film, but this one, Amanda Waller's over here like, in this, I cannot do a Viola Davis impression.
Go
I
ahead,
wish I
try
could.
it. Go ahead.
In the state of Louisiana, your daughter could be trying as an adult. I
Great
can't-
job.
No, that
That
was
was
job.
solid. That was
That
solid.
was not good.
It
That
was
was
okay.
Waller might be one of the best characters of Suicide Squad. I just want to put that out there.
No,
Of
for
the
sure.
movie.
Yeah,
For
100%.
sure.
Easily. She kept me in it in the first half, honestly. I know we talk a lot about the jokes, but like her being in the lab and like them being in the lab, that was the funniest part for me in the first 50 minutes.
Wait, which part?
The first 50 minutes when it's literally just any scene
Her
with
just
her in
like
the
giving
first
them
50
the
minutes.
rundown and
Yeah,
whatnot.
or them doing bets too, like that took more precedent for me in the beginning. I know we said we liked the jokes. I personally didn't like the jokes from the squad for the first 50 minutes. Like, it didn't start getting funny to me from the squad until after about an hour in.
Like
think-
the main squad? Is that what
Yeah.
you're saying? Okay.
Yeah, because number one, most of them came from the trailers anyway, so I'd already seen all of them.
Oh, that's why I usually with trailers these days, I don't watch them. I'll probably watch the first one. I feel like they spoil too much.
They
'Cause they're
do.
like 2
The
minutes
trailer,
long.
the trailer spoils literally the first hour of the movie. I'm not even
I
kidding.
didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you watch the extended trailer, the first hour of the movie is
the trailers definitely spoil who's gonna be alive for sure. Cause like
that's fair.
Yeah, you never see like Javelin in any other scene.
Exactly.
Oh man, I've been in the dark. I'm so glad I didn't watch any of those trailers. I probably saw the first one and that was it. Like, oh, Idris Elba's in it.
Yeah, so by the
That's
time I heard the jokes, I was like, I already heard these on the trailers like a jillion times when they keep promoting it to me.
They still have some good jokes in there, like
what? I think the first 50 minutes they had a lot of situational humor in it, where it's like it's not like a verbal joke, but like the weasel falling off the airplane and like just like
drowning
for like 2 minutes. Like, I think that was
Weasel's dead.
It was
joke than like an actual like haha like let me.
Well, it
see.
seemed like they jumped in. They kind of so the movie is chaos, and I think they went chaotic with how they established characters too, because in the first 50 minutes, like even Dead Sports and Peacemaker's like interaction and stuff, you don't have much depth in them, but they already have like these little things going on and these jokes with each other, and so I just didn't feel it. I'm like, these are just like really too cheesy for me right now. Like at this particular moment, for y'all to be that like cheesy, that bittery, like now.
That's
the second half it made a lot more sense. The second half, I'm like, they've earned it now. Like they've earned it. They've been on enough, Mitch. They've seen a lot of death together now. Now it makes sense to be this like jovial and like just this ridiculous with what it is. But they also don't care about their lives either, I guess. So
you're telling me you did not laugh at the scene where they Peacemaker and Bloodsport meet for the first time.
Right.
And,
I was just
laughed at that part.
Come on, that was
Hobbs and Shaw. I'm like,
scene.
this is how I've seen this on Hobbs and Shaw.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah,
it's Hobbs and
that's
Shaw.
right.
It's literally like watching
it
Hobbs
was
and Shaw.
it was her delivery when she said, anything, he can use anything as a weapon.
He's like,
And-
are you kidding me?
Right. He's like,
That was funny. But also, Amanda Waller was in that scene too. So I did say anything with her in the scene was funny to me.
Yeah, her delivery was like on point on that scene. He's like,
and when Deadsport, whatever, when it like neck,
Bloodsport.
No, I don't blame him. I was close to saying Deadshot earlier. I was
don't do that.
I was
all
close.
black men look alike.
No, the character. No, shut up. No.
No, when he went at her neck, like, cause about the daughter and that face she had, like, that is a iconic like face she does. That's her signature face. It was the greatest. It gave me chills. I'm like, she didn't budge. How many takes did it take for her to do this? Like,
shiver me timbers. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I guess another one. I mean, I really like the scene where they were going through the rebel camp before they knew it was a rebel camp.
Oh my god!
And they
slaughtered those poor bastards.
They slaughtered everyone in there. I mean, to hear that some jokes weren't ringing until the second half. I don't know, like scenes like that. I'm just watching.
Call that midway. Like, that's like the midpoint.
No, that point is literally that's literally the mid. That's literally like after like that's maybe like 50 some minutes when they're doing that.
Fair.
Which was entertaining, terrible. But also very terrible too. I mean, those were not technically bad people. They just killed the whole.
But see, that's the thing. These are not.
That's the joke, though. That's the joke.
Exactly. Like these, at the end of the day, these are villains, and it's not going to weigh on their conscience too long that they killed. I guess technically the good guys.
Well, it did in that moment.
No, in that moment
like,
it did.
That's not weighing on their conscience. That's like oops.
It's like oops. I spilled the milk.
If you say oops, that means that weighed in. Like you realize you just fucked up, and which they did.
But it was brief though.
It was like, brief. You know, if Superman or Batman did that, they would be out of commission for the whole movie.
Well, they don't kill. Well,
they don't kill. Well,
Batfleck kills, I guess.
Yeah, Batfleck also beats up people's kids in front of their parents. That's what happened to Deadshot.
Yeah. Oh my.
That's what happened to Will Smith.
Yes.
That is what happened. He
beat
the guy right in front of his daughter.
You're right. Okay.
He had it coming. Why are you an assassin? That's blood money. Why?
Right.
Why are you a bat?
Because it's fear. We're getting off topic. Peacemaker. I thought John Cena was hilarious the whole time, the whole movie. Oh no, you're not a fan?
John Cena was my least favorite character.
This was a better outing for John Cena than Fast 9.
But that's not saying a lot, though. Fast 9 was really, really bad. I mean, I'll say this. I thought John Cena was good. I liked him as Peacemaker. I thought his moments were funny. But, I mean, John Cena as an actor, I feel like he plays the same role in practically every movie. But at the same time, I feel like characters like Dwayne Johnson play the same role in every movie. Kevin Hart plays the same role in every movie. You
haven't watched Fatherhood then?
No, I heard about Fatherhood and
off topic.
No.
John Cena did good in this film. I thought
he was fine. I thought he was good.
Yeah,
I laughed.
He was okay.
I don't think. Listen, when I say I don't like it, it's not saying that they did a good or bad job. It just didn't, like, his character didn't land for me.
Oh, I think that concept is hilarious. I'll what is it? I'll try to get peace at any cost. By any means necessary.
Women, children, anything's on the table. Anything's fair game.
What did he say? He'd eat a beach full of dicks if it meant peace.
That's right at the beginning. At the beginning.
Yeah. I mean, it just showed like, okay, that's why he's a villain, because he's willing to do anything. Because like you hear him and you're like, oh, Peacemaker, he wants to make peace. He wants everyone to get along and whatever. But then when you hear the means at what he's willing to do to get to that peace, I'm like, okay, that's why you have a suicide chip in the back of your head. You're crazy. You're nuts. You're a loony.
John Cena, whenever I see him in films, I think he's better served by like these humorous roles. Like, I love the Fast and Furious films because I'm highly entertained by everything. I don't think he's great at the drama though, as far as like being serious. But when he's just being funny and like charismatic, like Blockers is something that I don't know how many of y'all have seen, but it's like
I've seen half of Blockers.
I've seen
Yeah.
Blockers, unfortunately, but
I think he serves well in like those types of roles where he's just like being funny, maybe at times being a little bit awkward, but he's able to be a little bit more charismatic than serious. So I think with Peacemaker, it kind of fits where he's strongest, I should say. So like Rose, I don't know how much I like the character, but I at least appreciated John Cena in the role. And I will watch the show. I think there is a follow-up show on HBO Max that'll be coming out.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know that.
You know, they gave a little wink at for Peacemaker specifically. Did y'all watch the post?
Oh yeah, that was
No,
a
yeah, I
post-credit
just didn't know it was. I didn't know. No, I saw it. I just didn't know it was leading to like a show. I thought it was going to be.
He's got 8 episodes coming to HBO Max with James
confirmed.
Gunn.
Interesting.
Yeah,
They
they filmed them. They already filmed
I'll
it.
check it out.
Wow.
Wait, what's
Wait,
the
it's
release
out
date for
already,
that one?
or
It's not out
No.
yet.
It's just filmed.
Yeah, I think
I knew
2022.
I knew
early
it had to be
2022.
something. They adapted that character. I mean, first of all, most of these characters don't have but so much story to them. They're like one-off characters or like a few comics. But like Peacemaker and like John Cena Peacemaker is a clear adaptation, like night and day.
I mean, just the
Completely different
outfit.
tones.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
the tone, outfit, yeah.
You don't make up that outfit for sure.
Oh man, I don't know how I feel about a John Cena centered.
They might have made up that outfit. I don't know.
I think that's comic accurate.
That's comic accurate.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. They showed that
yeah.
when they were doing
The
name.
characteristics are different though, and the story is different. Like Peacemaker's a little more serious.
Yeah.
Right.
I do also have to point out one more thing. I loved the cameo of Taika Waitiki.
I was actually gonna bring that up next. I was gonna ask. That's him, right? He's
That
just
was him,
showing
yeah.
up
I'm not
here.
expecting him to be like in there.
Well, I heard he was. I mean, I knew he was in the film, but I forgot to look for him the whole movie. And then yeah, when he showed up, I was like, oh,
There
he's
he
the
is.
Ratcatcher 1. And that was a really nice scene.
It was
Ratcatcher
nice.
was a really well done character.
Sebastian Ratcat. I mean, I loved her character easily.
We didn't really talk too much about her, but she did a really good job. Like I thought she was great.
And I like when she she had the rats like steal something.
It was
Or
a
like-
bank
He did.
robbery.
A
Is
bank
that
ro-
what- yeah, armed
Yeah.
bank robbery. They consider the rats a weapon.
Right. I was like, I understand
hilarious.
her frustration. That is hilarious.
No,
Yeah,
for sure.
I was just gonna say, I think something I appreciated with the film is like having characters like Ratcatcher 2 and Sebastian, where it wasn't necessarily that, you know, she was ultra violent or that she was like very similar to some of the other characters. She was more of the heart, as far as like giving some of that emotional tone, and that things could be beyond action in action films as far as establishing characters. And that's something I really appreciated, that she almost seemed like the most like regular or normal beyond the rats
Right.
character here, who's just like stuck in this situation, like, oh, I'm with all of these people that I'm still gonna almost care about in a way, and despite our circumstances and whatnot. So yeah, I really connected to her. I really enjoyed her as part of the movie.
No, for sure. You know, what did you guys think of Rick Flagg? I feel like we haven't talked about him either. Because I mean, I think Rick Flagg was fine, but I mean, we had more standout moments with, you know, Ratcatcher, Bloodsport, and some of these other people. Rick Flagg, I mean, what do you guys think?
I felt
thought
like
he
he was
was
a
fine.
background character. Like he
Background
But I
was.
think
character.
that was the point, though. I think because we had the whole first movie for Flagg. Honestly,
So wait,
Yeah.
he was in the first movie, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
man.
Oh,
Listen, man, I don't.
Listen,
That
he's
movie
the same.
was bad.
He's literally the same. He does the same basic thing in the first one. Leads the mission, and if anything
Okay.
goes wrong, he's supposed to cap him.
His
They gave
jokes
him a
were
little bit
terrible
more
in that
story.
first movie, though.
Yeah, but
And
everybody's
his
jokes were
girlfriend
terrible.
is the villain in the first one.
Yep.
Oh, right. That was a terrible.
Oh,
little-
okay, that
was
right.
a terrible.
Might
little
not be a
plot
great
point.
story, but they gave him a slight redemption. His character, like compared to the first, they gave him a slight redemption, slightly redeemable development, but they didn't focus on it. I think they really wanted to focus on these one-off, like newer faces.
Right, the new one.
Well, they tried to connect them to Bloodsport, which I wish they played a
They
little
did,
more.
lightly.
Like, you know, they knew each other beforehand, and you know, by the end of the movie with the twist, one, I didn't think Rick Flag was going to die, first of all.
Me neither.
That caught me off guard. And that was actually kind of sad the way he went out. But, you know, Bloodsport was like, you know, he was my friend. I was like, was he though? Y'all didn't even have a little one-on-one moment at all. Y'all didn't have like a reminiscent moment. Remember that day back when we, you know, did that raid? You know, they didn't have that.
What was even their connection? They went on past missions together?
They were,
Special forces.
Special forces, okay.
Bloodsport is the one that recommended. Rick Flag recommended Bloodsport.
I remember that part.
If anything, I felt it when Harley said, you know, Flagg was my friend, you know.
Yeah. Man, Harley really connected with a lot of these people. I don't know.
Harley, this is a really good outing for Margot Robbie too. I think she did another great performance as Harley Quinn.
You know what was really cool about that too is that like it wasn't like a Jennifer Lawrence movie where, you know, like when she's a side character,
like Mystique,
like everything is like, you know,
centered around.
Right. This one she had just as much as an equal role, and yet she was still one of like the main like top people.
Yes, and it didn't feel like you're thinking of Mystique, those her Jennifer Lawrence and those films, right? Yes, I 100% agree because they centered after Days of Future Past. When that one came out, they're like, Mystique's got to be the center of this. And I'm like, no, she does not. Get her out. But yes, Margot
Harley's
Robbie,
established. Harley's established now. So like as a viewer, if you've kept up with at least Birds of Prey, like it's gonna impact negatively, I think, keeping her with the group so long. So they kind of just had her do her own little side thing, and I think it gave a little bit of, this is how I know it's after Birds of Prey, because of how she acted in her separate role. That's how I knew it was post Birds of Prey.
Let me point this out, because now that you talk about how she did her own thing, I got major kind of like Tarantino type vibes from this film, where it was like kind of like a bunch of different stories that collided and then came together.
Kind of like the transition scenes, like whenever he's saying, oh, like 3 hours earlier, and then it comes back. Okay.
I really like
I could feel
that non-linear storytelling.
That's hard to do, by the way.
It's very hard to do.
You can make that really. It's very easy to mess that up. It makes it very confusing and convoluted. But I think James Gunn did pretty well with that.
Yeah, I like that approach. It felt like a comic, because you know in comics there'll be times where you're with these characters for X amount of time, and then you go to a whole new set of characters. But it was like, they were kind of their own little stories happening. It was like, oh, first mission we got to get to Flagg. Oh, next mission we got to rescue Harley. Oh, a bomb exploded. 3 hours or 8 minutes earlier, here's what happened. I think he nailed it with that. And if he were to continue in this, I would like to see more non-linear type. It's different. Different.
No, for sure.
Nice approach.
I do want to bring up one last thing. The villain in this movie, like I felt very confused as to like who the villain was, and even if like, that villain was the Thinker, there was literally nothing that the Thinker did.
He did nothing. Like
not even in like a sarcastic way. Like he literally just did like
Was he the villain? I just took it as
he was kind of the segue a little bit. Like at first he kind of was, because
I forgot he was there. I forgot he was there.
He didn't really do anything.
And I mean, you guys see the Harley Quinn animated show? Like the Thinker, he sucks, but like he's so funny. You know, like you can see his like powers and stuff. None of that was in this movie.
It's such a great show, by the way.
We stand the show, yes. Toasty.
I need to watch
the show.
Yeah, I need to watch it now.
There's like 2 or 3 seasons, dude. It's so good.
It's so good.
I've heard
immediately. That's why I got
I will
excited
watch
when
after
it said,
this.
like, oh, the Thinker, and I'm like, oh my gosh, the Thinker's gonna be in this. Okay, we're gonna get some cool, fun scenes. Nothing at all.
Yeah, honestly, I forgot he was there. I took Starro as, I guess, the big bad.
Yeah.
I think they did a good job with Starro as well.
But is Starro the big bad, really?
I mean,
He's literally the big.
the big bad.
But is he the big or it the big bad?
Oh, you mean the U.S. government? Because
I mean, when Starro was literally dying, it was like I was literally enjoying being in space, looking at the stars. Is the final words it said before it died.
So you're saying Starro is a victim?
Yes.
They did.
Yes.
They literally captured and kept Starro for 30 years.
Right. That's fair.
That's true. That's true. All right. All right.
And then
fair
Flagg died because he wanted to, tell the press and
Yep.
spread this information about the involvement of the government in the capture, and then now the release, but in a roundabout way. But
In a roundabout way, yeah. But it was a noble death for him.
It was noble. Yeah, I felt that. See, that original Suicide Squad could never.
Right.
Never.
What I haven't heard about from y'all, which I'm surprised, is all of the fake outs. Did y'all have any fatigue or like there was
Which
fake?
ones?
I thought King Shark, like it made it seem like King Shark was gonna die. That upsetted me a lot.
Man.
Oh, come
he was
on.
Taking
No
hits. He was
way.
taking major hits.
He was taking major hits, but like,
a tower.
I didn't know. We don't know. We don't know how durable he really. We know he's durable, but we didn't know how durable.
I mean, he was taking
Okay.
some straight up
I mean,
shotgun Bloodsport
that-
shots.
after
that-
getting his fish friends trying to suck the life out of him and chew him up, and then he falls out of the building and they shoot him up, and then the building crushes. I'm like, are they killing
he's
him?
Superman. He's Superman.
No, I'm not even upset. I'm glad he's still alive because they didn't develop his character enough to me.
Yes, they
So I
did.
want him-
Does he have character?
He had
Yes,
character.
that's the.
Yes, he made friends. He made Ratcatcher. They made.
What do
friends.
we know about?
look, King Shark is a himbo. Okay, we don't need to know anything about him.
Yes,
Wait,
we
Yes.
do.
what
leave
was
it
it
at,
called?
leave it at there.
What was that
Yes,
term?
we do.
A himbo.
A
He's big
himbo?
and sweet. Yes. Have
No,
you not
no,
heard of
himbo.
this?
A male
A
bimbo.
himbo.
Bimbo.
A himbo.
A himbo.
It's
A
more
male
to
bimbo.
him.
Him.
It's more to
Bimbo.
him.
Ooh, I've
Where
never
they're
heard of a himbo.
where they're it's on the internet.
Huh.
He's large and he's sweet. That's really the requirements.
A
You're just big.
himbo.
You're big and sweet.
A shifero. A
No,
himbo.
Nanu.
we'll educate you later on.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Also, King Shark versus
Nanu.
Killer Croc. I think King Shark wins this.
Oh,
Oh,
Oh
definitely.
wow, yeah.
Killer
They should
Croc
have
could
that.
never.
Right.
Well,
Everybody in that movie sucked.
that movie's Killer Croc for sure, for sure. I feel like they were a little bit more faithful with the actual Killer Croc. I don't know. I feel like put up a fight at least, but no, King Shark in this movie was really durable. I'll give you that. He was.
No,
he was taking shots.
I love the character in the movie. though.
Also, like with this movie, I got so much anxiety knowing that they had a bomb in the back of their head. I was just waiting for someone to accidentally.
Oh,
Oh my
trip over
God.
that was a good scene.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
The ending, right? Is that what you're
when
talking
she
about?
was losing it, when
She was. I'm
That's
telling you,
Viola Davis that's peak Viola Davis right there.
that
Yeah.
is. I was really hoping she was not, because there was no
I was
way
ready
these
for her to
characters were gonna
spit.
die.
You know, when she does the spit and the running nose, like that's what I
I was
turn around. Turn around.
because I knew these characters were not gonna die, and I'm like, dude, there's no way they're gonna have her get like a heart right now and be like, oh no, they're too sweet. I want to keep them around
I
forever.
thought for sure she would feel like either the Ratcatcher or Polka Dot Man or something first, and then I was like, oh my god, oh my god. Oh
Yeah,
my
at
god.
that point, we don't know who's gonna die.
Right.
Yeah, well, it was like 4 or 5 left.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was like the main, it was like the heavy
It
hitters.
was Bloodsport,
Uh,
Catcher, yeah, Shark, Harley, and Polka Dot Man. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And
But
then,
no, we were watching it and we were thinking, man, she's gonna kill her aides who knocked her out. They're fucked. They're
oh,
dead.
easy. They knocked her out. They knocked her
Right.
cold.
I was
Yeah.
I was more scared for them. I was like, you're stupid. You just knocked out Amanda Waller. You're not walking away
I
from
mean,
that.
but that scene where they all looked at each other after the club got whacked on it, that was great.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
100%. Yeah, and then they kind of transitioned that into like not the Rick Flag, Peacemaker scene where he's in the hospital, right?
Mhm.
And they're like, oh well, this is like punishment from Viola Davis. Is that because like they have to babysit?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And because he's crazy too.
Okay.
They
fine.
have to deal with him now.
And actually, I looked it up. They are in the cast for the Peacemaker show.
Oh, cool.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
okay.
kind of segued perfectly.
I really like that element of this movie where it's like you do have like the head person in, the headquarters that are giving the orders. We never really care about like the side people that are doing stuff. But like now that they have like a little bit more character, it kind of reminds me of Avengers, where like that one guy was playing
Galaga
like on the side.
Oh, that's right.
This seems like way more depth to that, where it's like,
What's his story? What's he doing nowadays after the breakdown of Shield, right? That'd be a good. Oh, he's with Sword.
He's actually
That's what's
playing
going
Galaga. In space.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
But no, like I really like the fact that you're getting more dimensions from some of these side characters that you never even realized that they're side character, like like they're just background noise, but they're actually getting a little bit more of a voice.
I think there's a credit to James Gunn. I think he just really knows how to make you appreciate characters. I mean, and when you think about like the Guardians films, like Kraglin, played by his brother Sean Gunn, who played.
Oh my gosh, Weasel.
Yeah, he played the Weasel. Yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
The run at the very end, at like the end credit scene.
Oh yeah,
Come
he's
on,
alive.
Yeah.
The Weasel's penis was out.
During all of it.
Okay.
I'm not gonna rewatch
All right.
it.
All right.
Wait.
No, no, no.
What?
Okay.
Where are you going with this take?
Yeah.
It's just weird.
How do you home in on that part of the
Yeah.
character
Because it was
while you're
just
watching?
out. It was out.
It's
it was
a
like
weasel,
Dr.
bro.
Manhattan
It's a
in The
weasel.
Watchmen. Just out. It was just there.
It's
But
a
Dr.
weasel.
Manhattan is a human.
So
Oh my god.
It's more
I
apparent.
don't know what this is.
all I'm saying, it was
Anyway.
out, and I saw a headline like on Twitter, and I was like, okay, I thought I saw a penis. Whatever. It was there. It was there. It was there. It was there.
All right.
Well, thank you.
Okay.
Yep.
I was literally about to say like I'm a Weasel stan, and then now you gave that little information. I'm like,
Go
And
back and
Now
look.
that's burning his
No,
retina,
nobody
man.
wants to go
Why?
back and look.
I mean, you don't have to like look, but it's
What?
there. It's
Oh
there.
look, there's a penis. Oh wow.
Oh,
Man, whatever.
Penis.
Whatever.
Wow. Wow.
Okay. I'm
This podcast brought to you by Weasel Penis.
listen, okay, I forgot the funniest bit, and I think we'll segue into our closing wrap up. The funniest bit, we haven't talked about it, the freaking Milton bit. Milton.
Oh, Milton. Yes.
Yo, oh my
The guy.
when they did the money shot with all them walking out,
He
he
was
was right
there.
there.
He was there. No, I'm not even kidding. I remember in certain scenes when they were going into the building, I remember
Yes.
seeing him, and in my head, I'm like, wait, this guy's still with them? What is he
Right,
doing?
right.
And they brought that as a joke.
Yes. And then
And
when
then
he got
Harley at the
shot,
end, she's like, Milton, you were a good guy.
right.
She
Oh,
called.
that's right.
She called.
I want conversation
He's like,
about
that's not my
That's
fucking
not my
name.
knife. That's not my knife.
That was so good.
Okay.
Oh my,
Okay, you're right. Easily the best joke. Easily
right.
the best joke in the movie.
Oh my gosh.
There was build up with that. I loved how he thought he was part of the main squad.
But somebody, I forgot who it was, but someone felt really bad when Milton got shot.
It was
Polka Dot Man.
Polka Dot
it
Man.
was
Polka Dot Man.
Did he like scream Milton? Right?
Yes, he was the
Yes.
only one that screamed
He
it.
cried.
He was like, "You guys, like, you don't remember him?" And Harley's like, "Who?"
Yo, that. Oh my gosh.
Oh, Milton. I remember Milton.
Milton.
No, 100%. You know what? That segues us into our final bit, and we kind of mentioned this throughout the episode. How do we rank this amongst the other DCEU movies? And I feel like it's important to really separate this, and you can if you want to. I personally am. If you want to separate this from the actual films in the DCEU, so no extended editions, no Snyder cuts, no 3-hour versions. If you just want to set this as a film, just a film compared to all the other films. And then in the same breath, if you want to have a separate list for the Snyder cut versions and, include the Snyder cuts in
Right.
those.
Snyder
in
cuts
that
out of the
list.
question. Bam. That's all you had to say.
Snyder, wait, what?
Snyder cut's not in this ranking.
Oh, yes,
But
easily.
I
There
think
you
I
go.
see what you mean. Like, there's like Justice League, and then there's Justice League Snyder Cut, which is a
Right.
totally different movie. And then you have
Exactly.
Suicide
Listen.
Squad, and then James Gunn Suicide Squad, which is a totally different movie.
No, these
Well,
okay.
Those
It's
are the
the-
same though, because they're set in there's a sequel.
Yeah, it's
right?
the same universe. Yeah, it's not. Yeah,
Because I thought it was a reboot. Like
it's not
as far
a
back as
reboot,
2 months ago,
no.
I thought it was a
Not a
reboot.
It's not a
not.
reboot. No,
Yeah, it's
It's-
a sequel.
Yeah, it's a
Ish.
sequel or a standalone sequel. There you go.
My same expression. I thought it was a reboot. I thought it was a reboot too.
Listen, I'm gonna say what
I know
everybody
it's
needs-
not one now.
No, I know. I'm giving the ranking. I'm gonna say what everybody needs to say. You had the most fun in a DC movie with this movie right here,
Easily.
and
yeah.
y'all cannot argue that. Wonder Woman, you did not leave that movie dying laughing.
But are you
Some
ranking
good-
it just on fun? That's
I'm-
subjective.
like DoctaReeka's been putting it.
DoctaReeka.
It's entertaining. You were entertained throughout this whole movie.
But you
Yeah,
could
but
argue
you know
Bird
what?
of Prey.
After
Bird
we
of Prey
had
was a good movie.
Birds of
Bird of Prey
Prey
was
I
not
thought-
as Birds of Prey
Oh,
did
man.
not
Come
deliver on
on.
all the action.
I need to see Birds of Prey now, man.
It was really good.
Birds of Prey
Prey
did not
was great.
deliver on all the characters.
Yeah,
Um,
they did.
They misstep with Huntress.
Oh my god, she was hilarious during the whole. They had a
Separate
whole
discussion.
backstory.
Thank you.
Misstep. It is a separate
It's the
discussion.
crossbow killer. It's the Huntress.
minus my watching of Birds of Prey. I haven't seen it right now.
Just go watch it today.
I'll watch it today. Right now, the best one, The Suicide Squad, in my opinion, out of all the other movies. And then if I'm even including the Snyder cut stuff and all that stuff, still, because like Snyder, there's like it was like what
I'm
Darce
not
was
watching
saying.
another 4-hour
It's-
movie.
No,
Right.
exactly, because that's not even a movie at that point. There's no
Right.
4-hour movie. So, yes, this movie, no matter how you want to rank them amongst the extended the extended editions or just the baseline films, this for me was the best DCEU movie, easily. I had the most fun. I related to more of the characters more than any other movie, and I feel like it was more difficult on this one because you have like 10
No
plus
names.
characters, no names, and you have a whole roster. It's not just one or two people. Like, to me, that's really difficult, and I felt like James Gunn did a pretty standout job for me to care about Bloodsport. What you see? No, that's perfect, because I was literally about to say he is a carbon copy of Deadshot. That's literally all he is. For him to have a second outing and for me to care about him more than the original, which I really didn't care about him much in the original, but just to do that, fantastic. I thought I did a phenomenal job. And then if I'm gonna rank like just other ones, I guess Wonder Woman, then Shazam as third. Birds of Prey might creep its way in there once I watch it. But
It will. Don't
I'm
worry.
gonna
It will.
rewatch Birds of Prey. I am.
I will watch it. But how about everyone else? Just rankings overall.
Number 2 for me.
Number 2. What's
Who's it?
number
Birds of
one?
Prey?
Birds of
Is
Prey.
that-
I gotta tell you, I loved Birds of Prey. I saw it 4 times. It was so good.
4 times. Damn. Okay. All right. No, I'm definitely gonna watch it today.
Number 2 also. Birds of Prey was a better movie. too.
Wow,
The character
y'all-
was
okay.
really interesting. I
Oh
liked
man,
it, dude. It was
you guys
such a
might be
fun movie.
hyping this up. I
No.
might.
Well,
No,
we're
dude,
not
it's-
trying to hype it up, but it really was.
It was really good,
fun
especially
movie.
after I watched the Harley Quinn TV show, the cartoon. So
Yeah.
watching all of those, because I watched all of them around the same time, dude, it's really good. You should watch both of them. Watch the movie and then start watching the cartoon show, dude. That cartoon show is
All right.
goddamn amazing. It's on par with the Young Justice, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm gonna retweet both of them because I also love the Harley Quinn show and I also love Birds of Prey. This is number 3 for me. I juggle between like however I'm feeling, Wonder Woman or Birds of Prey is 1, 2. I don't know which order, depends on the day. But so this is number 3 as far as the Suicide Squad. I really did love Birds of Prey and Wonder Woman, and I did have a lot of fun in this movie. I think there's a few things that I don't mind non-linear storytelling, which is what I really appreciate in this movie. I think that's what separates it a little bit from some of the more traditional superhero films, is that typically we get like introduce this character and then go along a journey. So I did really appreciate that in that film, and the chaos and the fun. There's just some things I connect to a lot more within Birds of Prey and Wonder Woman that put it above it. But I'd highly recommend people go and see The Suicide Squad. I think you'll have a good time.
For sure.
Yeah.
Oh
Just
yeah, go ahead,
going-
Rose.
Yeah, just go in and have fun and watch this film. It's still fresh on me. Like, I literally saw it this morning, so I don't know where to rank it. It's definitely up at the top. I do personally think it's better than Birds of Prey. I've seen Birds of Prey. I enjoy Birds of Prey. I enjoy the last act of this movie is strong to me. It made me change. Like, I started the first half like It's okay. And by the end of the last act, I was like, I had a lot of fun, and that's really all it is. So it's a lot of fun with a hint of story sprinkled in, because I don't think it's but so much depth writing wise. But I think it was fun. I think the direction of it was fun. Even the directing, we didn't talk about the shots and the little things that they did to even make it more chaotic, but it's just like its own thing in this DC universe right now. So it makes it stand at least in some of the areas of the top 3. So do I think it's like one of the greatest movies to come out like in the past year? I don't know. I don't think so. I had my gripes with it, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it like I enjoyed Mission Impossible Fallout, like I enjoyed the Fast series.
Why are you shaking your head?
Movie.
What?
Because he always brings up Mission Impossible Fallout.
It's a good movie.
I'll say this real
Haven't seen
quick.
It is a
I'll say
good
this real
movie.
quick. Ever since Mission Impossible Fallout has came out, a lot of people try to do what they tried to do that formula in that sense. Whereas a whole bunch of twists, a whole bunch of chaos, like Mission Impossible Fallout is like straight action and twists like every single like cliche twist. Rewatch it. I stand by it. I can break it down to you on a separate thing. I can show you how Black Widow does the same thing. I can show you how all these movies that have came out after Fallout that are really fun, high energy, how they pull from Mission Impossible Fallout. I can show you the proof of how it wasn't done before and how it was done after. It's still executed well, so this movie's still a lot of fun. But Mission Impossible is a really fun movie for me. I don't care what nobody says. It's a good movie. Y'all should watch Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad, not the first one.
Idea.
It's leaps, jumps ahead from the first one. The Suicide Squad one is absolutely terrible. This one had such a low bar that it jumped over it and pulled the bar wherever it needed to be. So it's one of the top movies, yes. But I would watch this more with a group.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I wouldn't watch it again by myself. I watch it with a group, do a drinking game maybe for it. Like, have fun with it. Like have fun with it.
That sounds dangerous.
No, that sounds great.
No, yeah, for sure. Dangerous.
Just have fun with
one.
So, final question, I guess, to ask: do we think that James Gunn can do any other DCEU movie? And if so, what character could he pull off, or character story?
I don't want to oversaturate James Gunn.
Okay.
I agree.
Right.
It becomes formulaic then.
However, I will say he did a good job at distinguishing. I know you earlier said the blueprint was there from the Guardians, but it was like a loose blueprint. Like he did enough to, distinguish the two.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to oversaturate him.
Right, for sure. I mean, I do want to see more of him a little bit because, I mean, the only reason why he was even in this, wasn't it because the original fiasco with him?
Yes.
He got kicked from Disney. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So this was a very special situation for him to be here. So seeing as how he hit it out of the park for the movie, I feel like they would want him back to do either, I mean, he's doing the show that we mentioned earlier with Peacemaker, but a sequel or maybe just another Squad of Misfits or just another DC movie in general. I feel like 1 or 2 more outings will be fine with James Gunn, because at that point it's kind of what Grandmaster said. You're oversaturating him. He becomes bled out throughout the entire thing, and it becomes formulaic almost. We like it right now because it's a breath of fresh air in the DCEU, but if we see 3 or 4 more movies with this, I don't know, we might see some repetition here and there. So for sure. But all right, I would say that wraps up our thoughts on the Suicide Squad. I think overall we enjoyed the movie, maybe on different levels, but overall we would recommend people to go and watch this easily. I could not say this about the original Suicide Squad. I could not. I watched the original version, I watched the extended version. Does not fix anything at all. Nothing. But yeah, go out and watch the Suicide Squad. You will enjoy it. You will have fun. And hopefully we have more from James Gunn in the future in the DCEU. We'll have to wait and see. We have the show, so I don't know how a Peacemaker show is gonna work, but we'll get on it. We'll get on it. But all right. That ends this episode of the Yonkō Table of the Suicide Squad. I am your Yonkō host, DrJaceAttorney. But also, don't forget to follow our social media as well at the Yonkō Table at Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. And like our Instagram, it's called at the Yonkō Table, like the Suicide Squad. So don't forget that. That'll be a very brief reminder. So I am your Yonkō host, DrJaceAttorney, fellow Yonkō GrandMasterHoop, Supernovas, Darce, Rose the Crafter, Toasty, and DoctaReeka signing off. Take care, everyone.